Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. And today we're just going to take a quick 10-minute peek at a bunch of indexes. But we're not picking Jordan. We're not picking LeBron. We're not talking about Curry. We're not even talking about Giannis. We're talking about good to some great players, likely the two leading MVP candidates, and then some other really good players that are just about to break through or have just broken through. So we're looking at a little bit of off-the-radar stuff. We're going to compare 8 different indexes for 8 different players. Let me get you over to screen share. I've got the Cardladder Player Indexes comparison feature pulled up. I'm going to zoom in, right? Normally we zoom out. We look at the most recent and we zoom out. I want to zoom in because it's going to be really interesting. Over the last 2 years, here's the players I've got pulled up, okay? I've got De'Aaron Fox, brilliant point guard, on fire. Kings are overachieving. Cards over the last 2 years are up 60%. Who in the world would have known that? De'Aaron Fox's cards up almost 60% over the last 2 years. Nikola Jokic, no surprise here. Over the last 2 years, his cards are up 37.57%. He's done nothing in those 2 years except win 2 straight MVPs, and he'll likely finish second, maybe still first in this year's MVP. I've got Michael Bridges in here because he's an interesting player. A lot of people were high on him initially, and then it was clear he was a 3-and-D, and now it's not so clear. Maybe he's more than just a 3-and-D. He's playing for the Nets, which he became the alpha overnight. Instead of being the 4th scoring option, he became the 1st scoring option, and he's flourished for a Nets team that's kind of stuck in purgatory. They really can't win a playoff series, I don't think, but Bridges is putting up numbers, which is creating some believers. Again, remember, these are the 2-year numbers, so we would expect all of them to be red just about, and this is where it gets really bad. Obviously, Damian Lillard, brilliant point guard for the Portland Trail Blazers, had an astonishing, I think, in my personal opinion, first team All-NBA season, although it sounds like he's going to sit these last 7 or 8 games, which may result in him dropping to second team. Jaylen Brown has been absolutely phenomenal, especially during this recent stretch where Tatum's numbers have, or at least Tatum's efficiency has come off a little bit. Jaylen has had an incredible season. Celtics came out on fire. Everybody's darling title, favorites. And now it's back to the Bucks and maybe the Suns, with even the Sixers pushing the Celtics for title contention. So Celtics are still very much in the picture if they get healthy and everybody gets on the same page. Kyrie Irving, weird year, was putting up great numbers in Brooklyn, got traded to the Mavericks to create the softest defensive team in the history of the NBA. And now they are floundering. They may miss the playoffs. Nothing good is happening in Dallas, which is a shame because I'm a huge Luka Doncic fan. Not so much a huge Kyrie Irving fan. I've got Joel Embiid in here, whose cards are down 67% over the last 2 years. And he's been in the top 3 MVP voting both of the prior years. And he's the by far leading candidate to win it this year in a real twist of fate change over the last probably 30 days, post-All-Star break for sure, where he's kind of taking the lead from Jokic from the Vegas odds perspective. And then I included Sabonis in here, who should be a 3rd-team All-NBA center. He should finish 3rd team only because the 2 leading MVP candidates are also centers. So it's going to be Jokic and Embiid on 1st or 2nd team, and then Sabonis is almost assuredly, I think it's a lock that he's going to be a 3rd-team All-NBA center. He's made multiple All-Star teams now. He's had an absolutely ridiculous season, posting triple-doubles and in a very efficient way. And that team runs their offense through him. And that pairing of him and Fox is the reason why the Kings are overachieving. So we knew this was going to be ugly. We knew it was going to be red. But what I want to do is sort of zoom in, right? Because the 2 years has taken us right back to the crazy 2021 bubble. So we're talking about the highest peak that the hobby has ever experienced. Let's look at 1 year. There's a little more green. There's a little more hope here. Bridges up 45% over the last year. Sabonis up 32%. Jokic still up 22%. Fox is up over the last year. Now here's the one thing to remember about Bridges and Sabonis. Cardladder only has 6 and 4 available in their index. That's not a huge sample size. So these percentages, these are something you have to dive into and take a closer look at. When you've got 152 options, you can feel really confident that's going to include low-end cards and high-end cards and mid-tier cards, autographs, non-autographs, base, parallel. 152 is a big, large, healthy number. 6 and 4 is not a large, healthy number at all. So it's likely going to be 1, maybe 2 different cards, maybe 3 for these players. So that could skew the percentages drastically. Jaylen Brown, 11 cards in Cardladder Index. They need more. De'Aaron Fox has 27. Lillard has 71. That's a healthy number. Embiid 100 and Kyrie Irving 53. So you get under 25 to 30, you start worrying about whether or not that's a large enough sample size of the different kinds of cards that these players have out there. So that's always something to look at whenever you're examining any index, even if it's not cards. It could be any other asset class. It could be stocks or whatever. As you see, we kind of narrow the scope into the last year. 4 of these guys are in the green and the rest of them are in the red, and they're not really as bad a red as they were when we looked at the 2-year. Let's narrow it even more to 6 months. Wow, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are now in the green. Jaylen Brown jumps into the mix. It's the same 4 and Jaylen Brown. These cards are not doing nearly as bad over the last 6 months, but this is where I really want to kind of focus post All-Star break. So we're working our way down to the last month. Over the last 3 months, I don't know about you guys, but now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got Sabonis up 180%. That is more than doubling the value of the card. That's almost tripling. You've got Michael Bridges do 123%. Again, like I said, he's exploded since the trade. Fox is doing well, no surprise. Jokic doing well, and even Jaylen Brown is in the red, is in the green. You've got Lillard, Embiid, and Kyrie trailing down here. But if we narrow it down again, this is what I'm trying to tell you: the card market's turning around. You notice this is not Jordan, this is not LeBron, this is not Curry, this is not Giannis, this is not Kobe. These are the next tier of collected players, collectible type players. I'm not saying these guys may not be as good as those guys I mentioned. Maybe one day they will prove to be better. But as far as collectability, I didn't pick the cream of the crop, and I didn't intend to. I wanted to look at these guys. Look at the last month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 8 are in the green, right? Even Lillard, whose team has completely disappeared through no fault of his, is up 1.75%. Irving is down 3%, and Joel Embiid is down. This is shocking to me. Joel Embiid over the last month is down 10%. It makes me want to go get on eBay right now and start buying Joel Embiid cards. That makes no sense whatsoever for these other guys to be up and Joel Embiid to be down. It doesn't make any sense. And you can't say, well, he's a big man, because Nikola Jokic is up 20%. And Embiid has surpassed him in this MVP race, and Embiid's prices were lower than Jokic's to begin with. And so it's a little bit confusing. When you look at sales volume and you sort by sales volume, this is no surprise. Jokic was bought very heavily because his cards were, I think, pretty underpriced. And so there's a huge sales volume of his cards. And plus, he's got the largest index, so naturally he's going to have the largest sales volume here as well. Let's go down to 2 weeks. This is not going to be crazy helpful, but we'll go to 2 weeks and change. And, again, that's just not enough time for cards to go up and down, and one bad sale or one great sale can skew it. So really 1 month is what I like, because you get a little bit more of a sample size, regarding how many cards have sold, to do a little bit more predictable, a little bit more conservative data there to make calculations. But I like the fact that as we narrow into the 1 month coming from the 2 years, we see the cards are starting to green, right? They're starting to turn a little bit green, which is what we want to see in the hobby. Let me know out of these guys who you think is the best investment right now. I'm just curious. Honest to God, I never would have guessed this. I would have assumed Embiid's cards were outperforming everybody on this list, including Jokic, because Embiid cards were lower down, and I thought they had more room to rise. And just what he's doing, I thought people may buck that big man bias and picked up some Embiid cards, and I thought his prices might be running. Let me know what you guys think about this, because Embiid's the worst performing player on this list in the last month. But let me know who on this list you'd be buying if you were a buyer. Obviously, I have a huge vested interest in Damian Lillard. I have 2 De'Aaron Fox cards left in my whole collection. At one point, I had over 1,500 De'Aaron Fox rookies. So I've liquidated liquidated my De'Aaron Fox, and I did pretty well on those. Jaylen Brown, same thing. I had hundreds and hundreds of Jaylen Brown graded rookie cards. Jokic, I never touched. Domantas Sabonis, I never touched. Bridges, I never touched because I just thought Bridges was a 3 and D, but I might be the one. The joke might be on me. Obviously, I have a huge vested interest in Lillard. I have maybe one Kyrie card because it's part of a 2012 Prism set. That's it. And then I don't think I have a single Joel Embiid card. So that's just where I'm at from a picture of transparency. But I would be looking at Embiid cards, and I actually might go look at some Embiid cards right now if I see one that catches my eye, because I think he's going to get this MVP award. I think historically he's going to be looked at in the same vein. I can't believe I'm about to say this. As Hakeem Olajuwon, he's that good, man. This guy is that good. He's put those early career injury concerns behind him. He's been pretty durable this year, in a year where everybody else is sitting their ass on the bench, and we're going to have issues with the next CBA about players, load management and all this crap where everybody's sitting. And B's been pretty durable and pretty fantastic. So let me know who your guy is. If you had to invest in one of these, or if you've already invested in one of these, let me know who they are. Lots of green, which is great to see from an investor perspective. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.